Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really unique organization that sits right at the intersection of science and technology. It's called the Scientific Grid Computing and Cloud Computing Resources for Community, or SGCRfC. Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, but what they're doing is absolutely vital. So let's just start with the big vision here. This quote, it really nails the whole spirit of SGCRTFC. We're not just talking about today's tech. This is about building a bridge between the classroom and the real world that's meant to last for a century. The whole idea is to create a future where amazing ideas can just flow back and forth, you know? All right, to really get a handle on this, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at what it actually is, a hub for innovation. Then, its core mission of bridging worlds. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how it all works, meet the community behind it, and, maybe most importantly, talk about how you can jump in and get involved. Okay, let's dive right in. First things first, what is this organization, really, at its core? Well, the easiest way to think about it is as a nonprofit, kind of like a central meeting point. It's a space where scientists, engineers, and other pros from all over the globe can hang out, team up on projects, share the latest and greatest knowledge, and get their hands on some seriously powerful computing tools. So this whole thing kicked off back in 2013 with a pretty simple but really powerful idea. Let's connect the scientific and tech communities. Now, a decade later, it's grown into this respected global authority, putting on huge events and sharing incredible open source tools. And they're always looking to the future, thinking about how to empower the next generation. And this part is so important. This isn't some exclusive club just for computer scientists. Not at all. The community is buzzing with people from all kinds of fields. We're talking earth sciences, physics, geophysics, you name it. It just goes to show you how essential this kind of high-powered computing has become for, well, pretty much all modern research. So, we know what it is, but let's talk about the why. What was the big problem that SGCRfC was actually created to solve? And here's the absolute key. SGCRC Crypt was built to build a bridge over that massive gap that so often separates academic research from what's happening in the real-world industry. You know, these two worlds have so much to offer each other, but a lot of the time, they're just operating in their own separate bubbles. And this lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got academia, right? It's all about deep, theoretical research and building that foundational knowledge. Then, on the other side, you've got industry, which is driven by practical problems, market forces, and getting things done. SGCFC creates that crucial space right in the middle where these two powerhouses can finally meet, talk, and create something amazing together. Okay, so a big mission is one thing, but how does that actually turn into a concrete plan of action? Let's look at what they're actually doing to make all this happen. Their whole strategy is built on these four key pillars. They're sharing resources like access to data and computing power. They're big on mentorship, pairing up students with pros who've been there and done that. They're reaching out across the globe with conferences and events. And really importantly, they're pushing for sustainability in computing. It's a super well-rounded approach. Now, when they say resource sharing, it's way more than just, hardware. It's this incredibly rich ecosystem of knowledge. We're talking shared cloud infrastructure, massive data repositories, open source tools you can just grab and use, GitHub repos, lectures on YouTube, the whole shebang. It's all there on their wiki, ready to go. An organization is really just its people, right? So who are the folks that actually make up this global SGC RFC community? If you had to describe the vibe of the community, it'd probably come down to three things. First, it's incredibly diverse. You've got people from every scientific and industry background imaginable. Second, it's super collaborative and supportive. It's all about sharing and helping each other out. And finally, there's just this shared passion for pushing technology and science forward. And what's really clever is how their leadership is set up. The roles aren't just titles. They perfectly mirror the organization's core mission. You've got people in charge of tech, research, community, and sustainability. Each role is a living, breathing version of one of those four pillars we just talked about. It's a really intentional and smart structure. All right, now we get to the most important part. How can you become a part of this amazing global initiative? So, the very first thing you gotta know is that this community is designed to be inclusive. You absolutely do not need to be some seasoned expert to join in. Whether you're a student, just getting your feet wet, or a pro with decades of experience, the door is wide open. So if you're feeling that spark and you want to contribute, what's the actual next step? Your main hub for everything is the SGCCRf Wiki. That's your starting point. Head over there, find the Contribute page, and it'll walk you through exactly how to add your own stuff. Maybe you've got a new data set, a cool project, a research paper, or a new tool you've built. This is the place to share it and make a real impact. As we wrap this up, it really all comes back to that powerful idea of connection. SGCRfC is living proof of what can happen when we build bridges between different worlds. And that kind of leaves us with a challenge for you to think about. What's a big problem in your world, in your field, that could be cracked if you could just bridge that same gap between academia and industry? Something to chew on.